Wander Wealthy Podcast, episode 235. Welcome, my friends. I am laughing at myself with that little snippet intro where I talk about the episode number of the podcast. I was sure it was 235, then thought maybe it's 236, and then corrected myself again. I would normally re-record that, but I'm going to leave it. Because here we are. We're just being ourselves. And I am so excited that you are here being yourself too for another lovely episode. Welcome back. And for those of you who are brand new, hello. I promise you, I am just as weird as I sound on this podcast. And I would love to meet you because I'm guessing you are a money nerd and you've just found your home. Welcome home, my friend. This is the Wander Wealthy Podcast. My name is Tess Wicks. I am the host of this show. I'm the founder of Wander Wealthy, and I'm a business coach for financial coaches, money coaches, wealth coaches, whether you're brand new, you're aspiring, you're seasoned, maybe you're a little frustrated, maybe things are going great and you just want to continue to, talk to some people that understand where you're at and have been where you've been and are going where you're going, then this podcast is the place to be. Now, we are like 1 week out from opening enrollment for one-on-one Wealthy Coach Blueprint coaching. The Wealthy Coach Blueprint is my 12-week program for new aspiring, and seasoned money coaches who are looking to refine or define their niche market so they can build a life-changing coaching program and learn the tips and tricks of marketing and selling using social media so that you don't have to spend money on ads. Heck, you don't even have to build a website. We really focus on the things that need to be done in your business that will equal clients and dollars in the door, and then also allow you to be coaching, allow you to deliver the goods, deliver your expertise, your story, and that hope, and ultimately add to this overall mission of bringing more financial literacy to the world. And I do that by bringing more financial coaches to the world. So let's talk about one way that you can bring in more clients, bring more financial literacy to the world, and that is through the beautiful act of service, which is the sales call. So if you have never done a sales call before, or if you've done them and you're like, I don't know if this is going right, then we're going to talk about that. I'm going to share 5 key questions that you need to ask on your next sales call. And I want you to take it, I want you to do it, and I want you to report back to me how that's changed things for you. Okay, so after you listen to this episode, get on a sales call. Maybe you have some already booked, or maybe you've never done a sales call before and you're going to use this episode and see how life-changing it can be for you and your business. And then I want you to hit me up on Instagram. I'm at Tess_Wicks, and tell me how it goes. Report back. Come on, I need to hear how this is making things happen for you in your business. I want to hear the impact of this podcast. So before I dive into these 5 key questions, I do need to remind you, I already kind of talked about this week's podcast sponsor. It is the Wealthy Coach Blueprint. So I already gave you my spiel, but here's the deal. Like I said, enrollment is opening in a week, maybe even less than a week. And I want you to get on the wait list because it is first come, first serve. I only have 7 one-on-one spots available. This is a time for us to get intimate, for you to get my eyeballs on your business and really see how much progress you can make in just 90 days. Progress that it took me 3 years to make, you can make in 90 days when we work together. And you can jump on the wait list by heading to wanderwealthy.com/apply. Like I said, spots are going to be open. If you have more questions, you can hit me up on Instagram, or you can check out the webpage at wanderwealthy.com/apply to see what's all involved in the blueprint and see some of the results that we've gotten our clients as well. So get your name on the wait list because we're going to open things up quite quickly here. And if you're listening to this at a little bit of a later date, you might be able to go to that link, wanderwealthy.com/apply, and you might even just be able to book your strategy session. Like I said, it is first come, first serve, but there will be strategy sessions open for those who haven't yet jumped on the wait list. So if you're just listening to this and we don't have our 7 spots filled, then that will be there for you. So just stay tuned to that. Keep checking it out and see if it is your chance. Okay, on to this week's podcast. I'm keeping this one short and sweet because I am on an actual vacation this week. So I'm actually pre-recording this, but it's short and sweet. We're going to keep it short and sweet because vacation mode. And I feel like this is the first full vacation I've actually taken in probably since 2019. I know I've gone on lots of little workations and I'm usually just always working, and that's an amazing thing, but I really just need the time off. I need a break. I need to just disconnect and love on my husband because it's his birthday and then we're going to a wedding and there's a lot of other things happening. So I'm super excited about that, but enough about me and my vacation. Let's talk about the questions you need to be asking in a money coaching sales call, right? A sales call for those who want to maybe hire you as a money coach. So this follows a process that I have and I take my clients through. There's a process when it comes to selling where obviously the sales call, and we've talked about this before, but there's different ways to really think about the sales call, right? It's not just about trying to get people's money. It's really trying to get to know where a person is at, identifying where that person wants to go, right? What their end goal is, understanding what's getting in the way from them getting there. What are their struggles? What are their problems? What are their pain points? What's keeping them stuck potentially, or what are they not doing? And then identifying if they're willing to do what it takes to get over those hurdles. And also on your end, right, you're asking these questions. This is probably creating a lot of aha moments for your clients, for your potential clients. They're not a client yet, but it's creating a lot of aha moments for them. They might even be getting a lot out of this call just by you asking these questions, because oftentimes no one's asking them these questions. They probably aren't asking themselves these questions. But it also gives you the opportunity as the coach to assess if the goal that they have is one that you can help facilitate them to reach, right? And that might not be in the 3 months or the 6 months that you're going to work with them, but getting them set up on track to reach that goal, right? But you also want to assess, okay, are these hurdles that are in their way something that I can actually help them overcome? We can create a game plan together and they can get over these hurdles. Or is it something beyond my knowledge, beyond my expertise, beyond the scope of the work that I like to offer? That's key, right? And then also understanding, if they're committed to doing the work, because even if someone is willing to pay you, if they're not willing to do the work, then, right, there's a lot of people, and I know this will shock people, but people will pay, but then not want to do the work and therefore not get the results. And that's going to, let's be honest, that'll make you look bad. That'll make you feel bad. It's also not doing them a service at all, right? They're better off probably not if they're not willing to do the work. So it's just like when we, buy a gym membership and then we don't use the gym. So you might think I can't believe people would be willing to pay, let's throw out a number, $1,500 for a money coaching program and then not actually do it. Well, guess what? We probably pay anywhere from $500, maybe, I don't know how cheap gym memberships are, but, I'm guessing you could probably get one for $250 a year, all the way up to probably $3,000 or $5,000 a year. And people will pay, along that scale, all different types of people will pay that and never use it. So we know people pay for things and don't use it. And this is, again, another opportunity for you to assess if you're a good match for each other. So as much as you might think sales calls are just salesy and slimy and manipulative, or whatever people are, saying sales calls are, right? And then we kind of take that on and believe that and then feel like we shouldn't do sales calls. It's one of the best things you can do for yourself and your business, and also for your clientele, to make sure it's a good fit. You should not take on a client if it's not a good fit, no matter how much they're willing to pay you. So let's dive into these questions. But we do generally follow kind of that what do I want to call it? That rhythm, that flow, right? There is a flow to a sales call, and it's, again, identifying where they're at, where they want to go, what's keeping them from getting there right now. Why aren't they just doing it themselves? Helping them understand and comprehend that and the cost of that. And then identifying if they're committed and ready to take action or not. And then, that allows you to ask the money-making question, which is, is this something that you want to get started on? Do you want to talk about the price, all that good stuff? And it's funny because I didn't actually include those questions here, but those are key questions. And I do have an opportunity for you to get my full sales call script in a little bit. So we're going to talk about that too. But let's dive into these questions because they are goodies. So my first question is a slasher. It's technically 2 questions, but I think that you could ask either or. You don't necessarily have to ask both of these, but I like both of these questions, so I included it for you. It's a bonus, okay? I actually have 2 bonuses, 2 slashers or slashies. The first question is, what's going on right now with your finances, right? Tell me about your current situation. That's basically what you're asking. It's like, tell me what's happening now financially. And then from there, like these are just the key kind of leading questions. And then you can always ask like digging deeper questions. You can always ask to kind of go deeper to get more information. And oftentimes you might, and you should always ask for permission, but is it okay if I ask you some questions beyond the financial questions just to get a better understanding of what might be going on in your life right now? And then you can explore that. I also didn't include like permission-oriented questions because I'm assuming you're getting permission as you go. But I think it is really important, especially if like you're going to ask a question that maybe they don't expect or that might feel a little bit forward. You can ask for permission to ask such a question before really diving in. And I think that that's a really, really good way to go about, a sales call in general, but also even in your coaching and beyond. We should always be asking for permission and getting consent. The slasher, right? The other version of this question is, what prompted you to sign up for a discovery call today, or whatever you call these calls? I mean, even if you call it a sales call, what prompted you to sign up for a call with me today? And that can also get them to really open up about like, okay, well, because this is what's going on right now. And if they kind of revert to, well, you talked about like achieving XYZ goal, and that's something that I have, then you can then take that question and say, oh, that's great. I definitely want to touch on that in a little bit. Can you tell me a little bit about what your current situation is right now? So again, we're just trying to set the stage and understand like, where are they at? Okay. The second question is, where do you want to be 6 to 12 months from now? And if I were you, I would ask the question depending on the length of your program, but also kind of as you know your ideal client, what their typical current situation is and the goals they typically have. Because, if you do the ideal client market research work, you're already going to know some of the answers to these questions, but you're just getting a little bit more of a personalized answer then when they let you know what their answer is. And it can also help you gauge a timeline. So I would pick either 6 months or 12 months, or, you can pick a different kind of length of time, but just give them one length of time. Don't say 6 to 12 months. I'm including it because I guess this is a slashy too, I guess. Like, where would you want to be 6 months from now, or where do you want to be 12 months from now? But basically just pick the number that makes sense for your ideal clients. I often ask the 12-month time frame if I'm on a blueprint client. What am I trying to say? If we're on a call together and I'm trying to understand if the Wealthy Coach Blueprint is right for you because you're an aspiring money coach, I'm asking the 12-month question just because I think it's really good to put like someone who's looking to build a business kind of 1 year out. But when you're a money coach, you can often shorten that timeline because there's a lot that could happen, right? There's a lot that they could accomplish in 6 months. But you can also, again, do the 12-month question, or if you have something in between. I would steer clear of 3 months because it really takes a lot to make change and progress in 3 months. I would go a little bit further out so that they can really like let you know what their vision is and where they'd really like to be, not be so realistic. And 3 months is a little bit like too real for us, where it's like, actually, I don't know. I would just like to be able to, I don't know, like buy a coffee or something. So where do you want to be 6 months from now? Or where do you want to be 12 months from now? Or pick, something that makes sense for your ideal client. All right. This gives you an idea of like where they want to go and if you can help them get there, and, making sure that you're aligning what you're offering within your program to what it is that they want. And this will also help you identify like, did this person sign up for a call but actually have no idea like who my ideal clients are and what I offer? And if so, that is an opportunity for you to let them know like, hey, I don't know if you did see my profile or if you read through my program details. But just to let you know, this program is specifically for XYZ and achieving, ABC. I don't know if this is a good fit based off of, what you've shared with me. And so that is a way for you to very gracefully let them know that this isn't a good fit, and it's probably not a good use of either of your time to continue with the conversation or to continue with a coaching relationship. Anyway, that kind of went off the rails there, but let's go to the third question. Again, this is a slashy. So now we've had 3 slashies so far, but I feel like the second one wasn't really a slashy. Like 6 to 12 months, but pick one number so that you can get them to actually see that end date and then give you the vision. Number 3 is, what's keeping you from taking action towards those goals? So you got the vision. Now, what's keeping you from taking action towards those goals? Okay. This is going to give you an idea of like what's stopping them, what's tripping them up, what lack of knowledge or understanding or tools or resources do they have. It's really going to give you a good idea of what's going on for them and whether you can or want to solve those problems. Another way to ask this question is, what's getting in the way of you being able to achieve those goals? I think when you ask these what-based questions, like what's keeping you from or what's getting in the way, even more tangibly what's getting in the way, it puts the onus away from them and puts the focus on like what tangibly, what physically, what, even if it's not tangible or physical and it's like theoretical, it's still like they don't have to take on the blame, right? When you ask something like, why are you not reaching those goals? That feels very accusatory. And not that you're accusing, this potential client of like failing at achieving their goals. But they can interpret it that way, even if they don't feel it's accusatory, like from a conscious place. Subconsciously, when we ask these why questions, it feels accusatory, which then makes them go into, let me give you reasons why not. Let me give you all these reasons. Let me give you, sometimes that can get into excuse territory, but it's just it's usually just because it's coming from a very defensive place, because it's interpreted as accusatory. Whereas when you focus the problem, right, the thing that is keeping you from, or the thing that is getting in the way, it then shifts the focus to like, there's something else. It's not me, it's something else. And we're able to bring that into the equation and really think a little bit more critically about it without putting too much emotions into it and then going into kind of excuse creation or storytelling, which like storytelling is great when it comes to marketing. But when it comes to your sales call and trying to kind of get the answers, we really want to stay away from storytelling and really focus on kind of the facts and, the reality of the situation. So what's keeping you from taking action towards those goals, or what's getting in the way of you being able to reach those goals? And that's really going to help you understand what's popping up. And again, if you want to, and it's within your scope, to help them resolve those issues, problems, obstacles, whatever it is. So those are the first 3. Those are all the slashies. This gets us into the 4th question, which is going to help you, if you need it, really kind of wrap this up and showcase the value of coaching in a way. A lot of people doubt the value of coaching, and this could potentially help you. And the question is, what are these obstacles costing you? Right? And you can reiterate the actual obstacles that they're sharing with you. But like, if they're like, well, I just don't really understand investing, or I actually don't know how much debt I have, or I've never calculated my net worth, or I have a financial advisor, but every time he talks to me, I have no idea what he's saying. Or, I just have a spending problem, right? Anything that is, that they're sharing in terms of what's keeping them from taking action, or what's getting in the way of being able to reach those goals, that is costing them something, and they're sharing it with you. So then you can kind of flip that and say, okay, let's really think about what that's costing you. And a lot of times you can actually put a number to it. Now, are you going to take the time to do that? You might not, but you could even say like, hey, let's assume, right? If you were able to change up your spending habits, would you be able to pay off your debt faster? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay. Well, how long has this debt been burdening you? And what if you were able to pay it off, 3 years earlier than you might have? Okay, so we can see that that's actually costing you, and it's costing you, financially, but it's also costing you emotionally. And so you can kind of help. You don't want to lead them and answer the question for them, but especially if they're kind of like oh, I don't really know. I mean, I'm sure it's costing me something, but like, I don't really know. I haven't really thought about it. Then you can help them think through it together. Do it with them. That's the first opportunity to really like put on your coaching hat and move through them with that question, that prompt. So this is obviously going to, get them thinking about the value of investing in a coach who can help them overcome those obstacles. But it will also, it's just another way to kind of consider their current actions and the consequences of their current actions or inactions versus, what life could be like when they work with you. And then if they do have objections over the price, then this is a great opportunity to kind of bring this part back up where it's like, hey, remember we actually discussed this. And I think it's important to kind of circle back to it because this is the opportunity for us to say, yes, I'm ready to change some of these behaviors or these inactions and turn them into actions with the help of a coach so that we can stop having it cost us more and more and more. And then that leads us to the fifth question. The fifth question is, why is now the right time to make a big change? Okay, so in this question, you've kind of gone through like, here's my current situation, here's what I want, here's what's getting in the way, let's talk about the cost of that. Now we know, like, I signed up for this call because I knew then, and I still know now, that this is the time I need to make a change. But now we want to really know, like, why is it the right time to make a change? Really help them kind of commit to this process and remember and remind themselves why they signed up for this call in the first place, why now is the time. Okay. And that's really kind of cementing in their commitment. And I think that that's a huge thing that a coach gets to do with their client is help them commit and then follow through on that commitment. And that's a big piece of coaching in and of itself. Like once the client does commit to you, then you have to keep them following through on their commitments because remember, they have to take action to get the results. If they don't take action, they're not going to get the results. What's the point of coaching, right? So our job as a coach is to help them commit and then follow through on that commitment. So this is your opportunity to do that for one of the first times, okay? From there, you're going to lead them into, I would ask for permission to share more about your program, let them know whether you think it's a good fit or not, and then share key pieces to it. And then, of course, talk about the price, talk about the commitment, talk about all of that. But you can continue to ask questions as you go through that pitch process. And I think it's actually really important to keep them engaged and keep them kind of considering how this program is going to apply to their life. And there's a way that you can go about doing that. So we have lots more information on how to run a really, really strong and wonderful service-oriented and permission-based sales call inside of the Wealthy Coach Blueprint. I have a very special thing that is available to lots of people, and you may not realize it, but I have a simple sales masterclass. We follow the SIMPLE acronym, SIMPLE, and I take you through that acronym and take you through kind of a 90-minute masterclass of how to just like crush your sales in the most simplistic way. And as part of that acronym, I actually walk you through the steps of the sales call and provide you with some suggestions for questions and just kind of give you the idea what that flow looks like. So if you are wanting this, you can get this at a super discounted rate when you sign up for the pricing formula. So if you go to wanderwealthy.com/pricing, you can purchase the pricing formula for just $27, and then you will get the opportunity to purchase the Simple Sales Masterclass for just $37. So it's a $64 investment that could completely change the way that you approach your sales calls, that you move people through your sales calls, that you create a sales call dynamic that is comfortable, it's permission-based, it's open, and it's really focused on the service of what you're offering just during that like 30-minute call. And you're going to also get all of my best tips and tricks when it comes to pricing and the mindset behind pricing, how to price with inclusivity in mind, and so much more. So you get tons of things for that $64 investment, and you will get it if you go to wanderwealthy.com/pricing, get yourself the pricing formula, snag the Simple Sales Masterclass, and it's all there for you. So if you want my best tips and tricks, I mean, it's right there at your fingertips. So wanderwealthy.com/pricing. Do not forget that the Wealthy Coach Blueprint is opening for enrollment in just about a week now. And if you're on the wait list, you are going to be the first to know and have the first opportunity to sign up for a strategy session with me. Yes, it's a sales call, but it's also an opportunity for us to have a really great service-focused and permission-based discussion about your business and where you're at in your life right now and where you want to go. So head to wanderwealthy.com/apply, jump on the wait list. I will follow up with you very shortly, and we're going to have a lot of fun. I love conducting these calls and getting to know each and every one of you, no matter your decision. But I do think that we will make the right decision, and it will be a beautiful blossoming relationship from there. So wanderwealthy.com/apply. What other links do I need to give you? The show notes of this week's episode. If you ever want to get to the show notes of any episode, you can always head to wanderwealthypodcast.com. This one you can find at wanderwealthypodcast.com/podcast/episode 235. And until next time, I hope you wander wealthy.